Yes guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video. Welcome to London, outside of the Dolphin, where we were here just a few months ago celebrating a cup win. I thought, you know what? I need my happy place at the moment. Pint of Guinness, because it's not very happy for the Newcastle fans at the moment. Reports are that Alexander Isak has turned down a 200 grand a week contract offer from Newcastle United. Is going to talk a little bit about that. The fact that the Telegraph are reporting Newcastle want to keep the player and are pushing to do so. On the other hand, Liverpool are reportedly preparing a bid for the player and links to Wissa, Sesko, and looks like the Trafford deal has gone down the toilet as well. So we'll get into all of that in this video. Cheers. And yeah, we'll start off with Alexander Isak. As I say, reports coming out yesterday that obviously didn't travel with the players, followed up by reports that Alexander Isak has asked to leave, and reports that Newcastle did offer to break our wage structure to keep the player. 200 grand a week is what we offered, 50 grand more than any other player is currently getting, but that Isak is holding out for 300 grand. You know, it's just one of those. I think the fan base is split on this one, so I want to hear your comments down below. Reports are that Big Yas and Eddie Howe are still pushing to keep the player, and you know that's the question. You know, do you offer more? Do you offer to break the wage structure? Do you really push, or are we at a point now where if a player doesn't want to be here, as painful as it is, and at the time of the summer window where this is happening, you know, could this have not happened on day one of the transfer window, moved them on, and then tried to push? Instead, it's creating a bit of a mess. But I have to say, when you've got the likes of Bruno on the tour, Joe Linton on the tour, smiling, doing interviews this morning, Dan Burn, Bruno saying we want to keep our best players, but we're concentrating on the team, we're concentrating on what's best for the club right now, and then you've got Isak at home fighting for a move away. One of the big issues as well is the fact that who's going to come in for him. For me, it's happening a year too soon. Next year, it gives us far more time to actually look to other clubs of who would sign the player. Arsenal's just signed a new striker. Chelsea have signed bloody 2 or 3 new strikers. Liverpool have just signed Ekitike. Madrid, PSG, Barcelona, just not the right time. Really, the only team is Liverpool. And the question is, will they stump up what Newcastle are asking for, £150 million? Thoughts and comments on Isak down below. I have to say, it's just ran wild with this one. And for me, I'm looking down because on the train this morning, I was writing a few bits down and I'm split. I was very confident that Isak was going to stay. And after what's happened and all of the media reports coming out, all of the fuss that's being made, part of me just thinks, you know what, fine then. If you don't want to be here, fine, move on, and then let us concentrate. Let the players like Bruno, like Joe Linton, like the players who want to be here, get on with what they want to do, rather than having another few weeks of fighting on what happens next. I have to say that although Liverpool seems to be probably the only team and the only destination who maybe has the money and can come in for the player, can pay for the player. Bearing in mind, if we get 150 million for him, he wants 300 grand a week. That's going to be a 5-year deal. Like, Liverpool are really looking at an outlay of like 250 million. And I appreciate that PSR-wise and everything else, they may have more room than we do, but it's still a big chunk of money. And I wonder what will happen next, because I don't think Newcastle are ready to give up. It goes two ways here. Either Liverpool pay the money and let him go, or Newcastle look to offer 250 million with a release clause of, let's say, 110, 120, and he leaves next season. I think it's still fully open, but the problem with that is, and you can let me know in the comments, do you want Isak next season? Like, do you put all of what's gone on in the last couple of weeks, which is poor, badly handled by Newcastle, badly handled by Isak, badly handled by his agent, do you move past all of that and go, but we still have the best striker in the world? Or are you at a point now where actually you'd rather just move him on. Drop a like on this video if you would actually like to see Isak leave. Can you believe that I'm asking that? Normally it's the other way around and the video gets 1,000 likes. I'm switching it up because I want to get an opinion from you guys. If you would rather see him, you know what? If he's going to go, he wants to go, doesn't want to be here, move him on in the next week, and then we can crack on with the summer and concentrate on players who do want to be here. And one of the key links, a player has said that he does want to join Newcastle this summer window. See, I started off fairly cool and calm, didn't I? Pint in the sun, reliving memories of the cup final not too long ago. And as soon as you get talking about Isak, it's hard not to get stressed and animated about it, but I'm trying. So, reports coming out that Wissa is very, very close to joining Newcastle. Obviously, our situation's changed, and I'm going to talk about another player in Sesko very, very shortly. But in terms of Wissa, he's always been a player that has been on, as I'm attacked by flies, has been on Newcastle's radar. It's a player that is Premier League proven. It's a player who scored almost 30 goals in the last 2 seasons. It's a player that I am very keen for us to sign. The trouble is that Brentford wanted 50 million. The trouble is that Newcastle were trying to fight over a couple of million here or there. At this point, and how our window's going, I don't think we have time to fuss anymore. I think we need to push for it. I think Newcastle need to make the move and get the deal done. Reports are that a fee of around 35 million that Brentford will agree to. So there's 10 million more than we wanted. It's 15 million less than they wanted. We're kind of meeting in the middle, but Wissa himself is helping to try and push the move. I mentioned the other day that he's actually left pre-season training with Brentford. He's back in England at the training ground or the stadium discussing his options on basically how he wants to move. Sky Sports are reporting that despite interest from Nottingham Forest, despite interest from Spurs, that Newcastle is the team he has said that he wants to go to, which is, as we've just talked about, you know, I've mentioned this before. At my age, to have a favourite player sounds a little bit daft, but when you see the likes of Bruno, who had a £100 million release clause, you know, I think he's still got it in his contract. Reports were a couple of seasons ago that he was the player that we were going to move on. Well, I think it was when we let go of Elliot Anderson, when we let go of Minter. They thought it was going to be Bruno. They thought he was going to be the player who was going to go, and Bruno went, well, I'm not going. So there was reports that there was, let's go rumours, that teams had come in for Bruno, and he went, yeah, well, fair enough, it's in my contract, but I actually don't want to leave. And the club went, oh, crap. We need to sell somebody else because it's not Bruno. Like, that's the man we want. And if Wiz is a player who's saying, look, I want to join Newcastle, I want to join the Champions League side, I want to join Eddie Howe, pay the extra 5 million. Especially with what's kind of going on behind the scenes right now, if we're going to get any players, if you've got someone coming out saying, I want to go, pay the 5 million, get Wizza in. Is that enough for us? Is that as enough if Isak did leave as a replacement? No, not for me. He's the replacement for Callum Wilson. So really we need to push further, get another player done, and that's where the links to Sesko are coming in. So we were actually linked with Sesko back in 2023. Around the same time we were looking at Ekatike and a few other players. Sesko was a man that we were linked with. Well, this is what gets interesting on this one because it's being reported as a potential replacement for Alexander Isak. So the way I see it is, if Wizza joins, then that's great. That's just bolstering our attack options. Whether Isak stays or goes, Wizza comes in and is a valuable improvement on the squad. If Isak did go, then Newcastle are looking to put a 70 to 80 million pound bid in as the Isak replacement. I like it. I think he's a good player. The frustrating thing is, look, we brought Isak in, and as much as he was a talent, and we did pay 60 plus million for him, he wasn't the recognised striker that he is now. We've spent time and effort making him into that player. Selling Isak and having to go to Sesko is starting again. You know, it's bringing somebody else in and trying to hope that we can make the... He's a good player, don't get me wrong. But there's a lot of pressure to come in and be that number one striker. That's why I think we need two. It's not a case of, oh, Wizza's going to lead the line next season. We need another one. Let me know your thoughts on Sesko. If you like him and you would like to see him join Newcastle, drop a like on this video. I like him. The big problem is do we buy him now? Do we push? Do we go, you know what, Wizza and Sesko, and then Isak might leave if someone can pay the 150 million? You know, it's all well and good for Isak to say he wants to go, but you need to have an offer on the table. Reports are that Liverpool are pushing for it, but whether it actually happens at that amount of money, you know, if I was Liverpool, I would come in and go, well, he wants to leave, nobody else is offering, will you accept 120? But I don't think Newcastle would do it. I don't think Wissa would accept it. So, and then if we did sell Isak, all of a sudden, the Sesko price is 100 million. Because they know that we have the Isak money and they realise that they can push us harder to get more out of it. So as I've mentioned already, the way it's gone on with Isak, the agent and everything else has really landed us in such a tough position to even let the player go at that amount. And fair enough, you can say, oh, we'll find the money, we'll spend the money, someone will come in for him. It's not guaranteed, you know. And if I was Liverpool, I wouldn't be offering 150 million because they realise the position we're in. So I'm almost at a stance where if we're going to do it, I think we should sign Wissa and Sesko and then just decide what happens with Isak down the line. So let me know your thoughts on that one. And we'll finish off with some breaking news this morning. And I definitely need a pint of me Guinness before this one. That Man City have agreed terms with Burnley to sign Trafford. So what was the list? Mbuemo, Delap, Pedro. Oh, I'm definitely missing people off here. Trafford, it's another one that's gone to the wayside. Newcastle weren't willing to push that extra few million. And you know what? I get it. We shouldn't be just giving in to Burnley demands because they want an extra few million. But in our situation this summer, why we haven't just pushed the boat, I don't know. This was meant to be a transformative summer. It's another target we've lost out on. So yes, good news is Wissa's getting close. Good news is Newcastle looking to push on a Sesko should we need to. Bad news is the Isak stuff rumbles on and losing Trafford. I mean, if I was a Langer, I'll be going, what did I sign up for? I thought I was going to be crossing the ball into Isak this season, and all of a sudden, it's not happening. Joe Linton posting a photo saying, my second home with Isak in the background. Speaks volumes to me. Yeah, so there is, and I was watching a couple of the videos this morning of the players arriving in Singapore, and a couple of the photos that were coming out were annoying me, because I was like, read the room, everyone's on a downer, we don't need videos of Asula. But you know what, I watched some of them this morning, and I thought, you know what, a lot of attention right now is going on a player who doesn't want to be at our football club. Let's put the attention back on the players who do want to be at our football club, and that's what we need to concentrate on. And that's what I mean. That's where my mind switched. You know, if Isak stays, like, where's his head going to be next season? And, you know, how are the fans going to feel to have been put through, like, weeks of this, of him saying, I don't want to be here, turning down deals. You know, he won us a cup. He got us back in the Champions League. And I think I'll forever be grateful for what Isak delivered to our football club. But the way this has been handled, the only benefit of the doubt I can give it is not Isak, it's his agent saying, oh, by the way, we want this, we want that. But yes, I am going to finish this lovely drink, chill the F out in the sunshine, and we will wait to find out what happens next in this mad world of a Newcastle transfer window. Thoughts and comments down below. As always, thank you for watching. Drop a like, subscribe if you have enjoyed some of the positive news in this video, despite a fair bit of negative. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.